All right. It's working. All right. This is Will at Schedulefly, and I am here at Wooden Robot Brewery in Charlotte, North Carolina, my home, with Zena Irving, who is the GM here, and she's got a cool coffee cup that says "Embrace the Moment." Is that a life philosophy?
It feels like it. I think so, yeah. This is a random coffee. My other coffee cup, the other one says probably beer. So it usually goes to depending on the time of the day.
I hear you. So tell me about yourself. How long have you been a part of this awesome world of hospitality?
Hospitality I've been in for about 16 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I started off in Orlando, Florida. You know, the whole deal of hospitality. My family's background is at Disney, so I saw a lot of that growing up, and worked all different kinds of places in Orlando, and then I moved to Charlotte in 2007.
2007?
Yeah.
And what have you been doing here since? How long have you been at Wooden Robot?
Since day one.
Since day one. How many years has that been now?
So we'll be approaching our fourth year. This July.
Okay. How'd you get connected with these folks?
I opened up a couple of different places, and then I worked in the South End area, and I got into craft beer just kind of happenstance. It just was starting to really start popping up in little places around town. And it seemed like a really cool thing to get into, and so I just found the right people, and then really discovered I loved the community that surrounded it. So then with that happening, you go to these different beer groups and what have you, and I connected with a couple different people, and they knew the guys that were opening Wooden Robot, Dan and Josh, and they needed a little bit of hospitality help, so they asked me to come on board. So I was one of the first hired bartenders here, actually. One of the first hired bartenders?
Mm-hmm. And what was the backstory of Wooden Robot?
So it's kind of interesting how it relates. Both Dan and Josh grew up in Florida. So we're all Floridians. We're all about a month apart in age, but we never knew each other.
Okay.
Dan and Josh grew up down there, and Dan was brewing for Swamp Head, and then both of them decided to move to Charlotte. At that time, Josh was working for Bank of America, but he was also a home brewer previous. So they had that in common together. And then they decided they just wanted to open up their own business. And then they tossed around the names. Everybody always asks about the name Wooden Robot. It's a little peculiar, and it's kind of a mouthful sometimes. But they wanted the idea of the older, like the historic version of brewing, Belgian style, which is, you know, all the wooden vats and all of that, but then the innovative style of modern technology. So that's more of the robot. So there's the creativity, the tradition, and then the evolution.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So once you actually find out what the name is about, it makes a lot more sense. You're like, oh, okay, that's fitting.
Yeah. I mean, I always wondered that too. I've heard of Wooden Robot. I've heard a lot of great things. Wooden Robot, folks that are listening, you have a phenomenal reputation, as you know, here, and you've done so many great things. And in fact, I was at a couple months ago, I was in Durham interviewing Sean Lilly Wilson at Full Steam Brewery, and he, you know, knowing I was from Charlotte, asked about Wooden Robot and said he's, you know, real fond of your work. And
awesome.
So y'all, I mean, there's a lot of breweries here now, but you're really standing out in a lot of ways. And
yeah, I was really happy with the fact that I got asked to come work here, because I was like, if the beer isn't good, I hadn't tried the beer before I got hired. I was like, if the beer isn't good, I'm gonna have a hard time. And then I ended up like learning so much from Dan and Josh and being really, really impressed with their commitment to excellence back there. I mean, they really work hard, and it shows, and they're very much into learning as much as possible and trying new things. So I really appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tell me about. I mean, there are a lot of breweries here. There's a lot of breweries in a lot of places now. So there's a lot of them here in Charlotte. Talk about what separates Wooden Robot.
We're committed to following through on some of like our core values, like being intentional with what we brew. For, you know, of course I'm not in the production team, but we're all on the same team, and I'm going to speak for them for, you know, this portion. But if they don't believe it's a good beer, they don't want to put it out, and they'll dump it. And I really respect that, because there's a lot of work and time and energy that goes back into making that product, and then to kind of like dump your child down the drain, so to speak, you know what I mean? That takes a lot of commitment and integrity, and they want to try all these different styles all the time. So we've brewed over 600 batches at this point.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty intense. Like a lot of places you'll see where they have like a solid board of 10 or 15 beers, if they get up to that many, that stay as staples, and then they'll have a couple of one-offs happening. We're a complete opposite. We have 3 staples and then 2 to 3 new beers happening every single week. So you kind of have to ebb and flow with all the different styles and be on your game. So that goes and translates over to the service industry. I mean, the service side of it, front of house, where the bartenders have to be ready to have a new beer every single week and be able to talk about it and relate with customers about it and be genuine. While we also are a super high volume facility. So we are usually packed to the gills on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And that's intense when you have that many beers and worrying about glassware and doing everything all the time.
Yeah.
Communication is a big deal.
Communication is a big deal. Talk about that. I mean, how do y'all, that's a lot to pull off. And particularly, I mean, if you're doing that many different beers, there's a lot in flux, especially if, you're sticking with, your quality control issues, and if you don't like it, it's dumping. So there's a lot going on. Talk about the communication here and how you keep that streamlined and flowing and keep everybody on the same page.
Well, I used Schedulefly previous to working here.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring up Schedulefly.
Well,
no,
for me, that is a huge deal for us. I know I wasn't trying to no, I get that, but for me specifically, from my team, because we kind of, even though we're all on the same team together, we kind of run them into departments. So front of house is like one of those departments, and we put Schedulefly messages out twice a week, and then we have meetings once a month, and then we also do like other one-off things, like last night when we did the bottle share, or we'll have like a wellness Monday where we have like a yoga class in the brewery for just the employees. But then we all start making sure that we're all around each other, that we're constantly in the communication to where if it falls through the cracks, we can usually pick it up really quick, or we can prevent it from happening. Just because, I think that I probably communicate more than someone want me to, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist in that sense, where when we're ready to show up and sling some beer and have some fun, like I want to make sure we all have our tools, and a lot of that just comes from trying to find what everybody's communication language, which works for them, is. But I do use a lot of that message board.
That's funny. Okay. Yeah.
Like everybody's required to like dig the post, so I know that they read it.
You know that they read it.
Yeah. So then I know that you're set up for success for your next shift. But then also, of course, we have email and all that other stuff. But we do a last Monday meeting every month, and that's where we go over the ups and downs. We get any feedback from the team, things that they think that we can improve, and how we're always looking to raise it up to the next level. All the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot going on, a lot to keep up with as a GM. You've got 1,000 hats you're wearing. You were over here working on training when I came in.
Yeah.
Trying to get around on the same page. So, you've got another location coming on, so tell us a little bit about that.
So we are opening up our second location over in Noda. I'm super excited about it. It's a brand new building, which will be cool because the original building that we're in right now has lots of quirks. So I get to see what it's like to have a brand new one to work with, and we're going to have an upstairs bar as well as a downstairs bar, twice the amount of patio space, and we are right on the light rail, so you literally drop off on the 36th exit, and you're at our front door.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
And then we're right next to Novel Noda, so it's an apartment complex, has a lot of retail on the bottom floor. So we're really excited to see some of our neighbors pop in there and what kind of community is going to happen over in that little area, and then how we can spread and be a part of everybody else that's in Noda. We're really excited to be around some of our friends over there too. So
when does that open?
Right now we're looking at May.
May, okay.
More or less,
yeah.
So I'm ready. I went over and I kind of am being a stalker, and I go because I live over there, so I go and I just kind of like peek in the window and I want to see what's happening. I did the walkthrough a couple weeks ago, and I'm ready to start seeing some bar stuff get in there. Right now it's still just like the floors and piping and all of that, but I'm ready to see the bar layout and kind of get my hands dirty and start organizing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Tell me about one thing I keep hearing. I mean, I hear it everywhere, and I hear it certainly here in Charlotte, is it's getting harder to find people for hospitality, good people.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
There's a lot of there's just a lot of different things. People they go to a lot of folks, especially in Charlotte. It's primarily banking, right? So you have a lot of these professionals that went to school and did all these things, right? And they probably had some kind of hospitality job while they were in college, but that was a little while back. And coming into it now, it's getting more and more not complicated, but when you have a lot of steps of service and you're committed to that quality, that's something, if you haven't done it for a long time, it takes a little while to get that muscle memory. So for me, finding that and then finding team players, we have one of our core values is shared fate. We win together and we lose together. And finding people that work out of humility and teachability, and then also have the drive to continue to see what that looks like. Sometimes that's hard to find. And we don't like to micromanage. We want you to be proactive. We want this to be, a part of what you love doing and a part of your community, and want it to be part of your own. We don't want this just to be another pass through, unless it's another step for you to be successful somewhere else.
Yeah.
So for me, that tends to be hard sometimes, because we do have a lot of intentional service standards that people don't see, but that's what makes it look seamless. And we like to make it look like it's super easy, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not.
What do you do about that? I mean, how do you find those people? Is it getting harder, or?
We definitely get a lot of resumes and people inquiring and all of that. What we do is called a working interview. A lot of people have done that. So we've been reforming that a little bit in the last few months, but basically you have a 3-day working interview. The first day you come in, you do the walkthrough, you do a volume shift, we do a tasting with you, and then the second day you do an open to close weekday shift, and then you do a volume busier shift after that, and then we do a solo, and then after that you do a detailed clean is what we call it. We're kind of a stickler here about making sure everything's clean all the time, especially with beer and fermentation and all that can bring. So we kind of can see you either fit in or you don't, and we try to make sure that it's good for both sides. So that's the other reason why is some people have done the working interview and they've been 2 days in and they're like, I don't really think this is for me. We're like, we totally get that, totally understand it. That's why this is, it's an open floor of communication. And if you want to be here, we want you to be here, and we want to give you the tools, but sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's okay. That's nothing towards that person. It just different strokes for different folks.
Are you finding people through friends and acquaintances of staff, or if through customers, or?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
We've had some customers turn into staff members. We've hired friends of staff members, and then we also, we have a lot of resumes coming in. So, it just depends on the timing. Honestly, I don't really have a high turnover.
Okay.
At all,
because you go through a good process of getting people that really fit.
Well, that, and we care about you as a person. You're not just here to work hard and work too hard. I don't believe in overworking. I think that is something that the restaurant industry and the service, food and bev, sometimes they take advantage of people because of the low pay rate that you're getting hourly, because you're tip based, and then they want you to work 4 doubles in a row, and that burns you out.
Yeah.
You're still a person. We still believe in wellness inside and outside of the building. So making sure that there's balance, and that you're heard, and that we do our best to make sure that everybody's comfortable when we come in here. We don't like to do the drama or any of that stuff. So we try to do our best to respect each other and make this a place that you want to be. I mean, you spend a lot of your time at work, in your shoes, and in your bed. So I think that investing in all of those things is really, really important. Make sure that you're able to keep going, and it's not something where you just hate getting up every day or going into work.
Yeah.
You want to enjoy it and have fun.
Yeah, for sure. And y'all, you clearly have a fun environment here.
Yeah. It can be really fun sometimes. We've got some really unique personalities on our staff, and that's one of my favorite things to see. We don't have that much turnover, but we have a little bit of flux that comes in and out. One of our bartenders and her husband, they decided to take a different career path, and so we were happy to send them off. And that's when like someone new will come in and they'll just have some quirky personality that melds with someone else, and then you see them all dancing behind the bar and singing and having fun and, you know, slinging beer and making friends. And I love that. And I love, you know, coming in and seeing some of our other bartenders and managers, and they know everyone in the room, and that's cool because that's the whole idea, like the community aspect of it. That's what I got into beer for. It was just cool. It was simple. It was cool, and you got to like bump shoulders with everyone.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah,
everyone can be interested in beer.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a good culture, and I mean, it seems like it seems like in the beer community, at least in a lot of places, there's a lot of collaboration. There's competition, but there's also a lot of working together with other breweries and things like that. Do you see that here?
Yeah. It was really cool. Since I've been here from the beginning, like I was in this room that we were sitting in when half of the structure wasn't up. Yeah. So, you know, we were really, really fresh, and seeing some of our neighboring breweries come and help us like move tanks and kind of like give us some advice here and there, like that feels good. That's cool. It feels inclusive, as it should. There's definitely competition because we're making things, right?
Yeah.
You know, kind of like you know, watching a chef show, but letting it play out in beer, which is kind of fun.
Watching a chef show and let it play out in beer.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or everybody's like, yeah, we're glad you're doing it. Be creative, but I want to win. You know what I mean? Like, but everybody's cool about it, and they all want to see, you know, good things happen because it's all local business too. You know, we're building each other up through the economy with local ingredients, with local everything as much as possible, and make sure that everybody's, you know, doing it together. In that sense, it's always going to be community. Yeah. Which is, you know, we go in, we run into the whole AB and Bev thing, and then we have all these other different breweries and stuff coming in here.
There's a lot of them around here now. I mean, right around like where we are. Yeah. There's a bunch.
Yeah, yeah.
What about it's sort of the same over in Noda, or there's more and more?
Yeah, when I first got into the craft scene, and I was really, really learning about it, I was like, Charlotte's going to turn into the next Denver version of beer. I could, you know what I mean? Like they're just popping up everywhere. Yeah. And with the amount that the city has grown, and I mean, you see a new apartment complex on every corner every day right now. And there's usually a brewery right next to it.
For sure.
So, yeah, you know, you can walk, you can bring your dog, you can hang out, you can bring your family. There's usually food nearby. It's approachable, and you can just hang out and be yourself.
My dog wanted to come with me today. I probably should have brought him.
Oh, man. When back a couple of years ago, I used to have my dog's cage in the office. So that was like super rad. I was like, I can go to work and bring my dog and I can hang out. This is cool. Yeah. I'm really into this.
No more?
Yeah. Now it's like, because of like some health code laws, you can't have them inside the building, which is a bummer because we're all dog people here.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Like too much sometimes. So it's a bummer that we can't have them in the building anymore. But we still get to see them walk around.
They still hang out. Yeah, that's cool.
They could be on the patio.
Well, cool. Well, congratulations on all the success here. I mean, what a wonderful business to be a part of, and you've clearly been an integral part of helping it grow and thrive, and your passion for what you do is very palpable, so it's fun talking to you and inspiring speaking to you, and I'm sure that the folks that work for you, I'm not surprised you have low turnover. It's clear that you have a lot of authentic and genuine care for what you do and the people around you, and that really shows. So.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah,
absolutely.
People are what it's about at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else on your mind?
No, I just am super thankful for the opportunity. They didn't know what they were getting when they got me, and I can sometimes be a big personality with a name like Zena. It's not like I'm just quiet in the corner. Yeah. So for me, I'm very thankful for the opportunity. Dan and Josh are really great guys to work for, and I'm really proud of everybody. I mean, it takes everything down from the guys that help us clean up the tables, all the way to the guys in the brew house who really break their backs to make some really cool products. So yeah, thanks for listening to me. I mean, this is cool.
Absolutely. No, this is fun. It's been good. I appreciate it. We'll catch up again soon, and thank you. And folks, that's a wrap. Have a good one.